Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Aiman Hakimi bin Muhammad Razali, matric number HPT30103. I will present the part of introduction. The research proposal will discuss about educational tourism as a source of economic growth in Malaysia. Every chapter has provided a background of the study and a summary in every chapter on the research proposal. In this research, we have discussed why economy Malaysia can grow and why foreign students attract to come study in Malaysia. The goal of this study is to determine whether rising population educational level can boost economic growth.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Michael bin Mazlan and my matric number is H21814. For this part, I'll be presenting about the research objective and research questions. Objective 1 is to identify educational ranking of Malaysia, which is focused on the foreign student choice making. Objective 2 is to understand the level of safety in Malaysia to let students study safely. As for the last objective is to learn about the cost availability that attract international students to study in Malaysia. For the research questions, there are 3 questions that we have set, which the first one is what are the educational perspectives related to the choice of the student to study in other country. The second question is how much did the factors influence their choice. And the last question is the tourism sector, especially education tourism, will be able to improve the economic growth in Malaysia?
Assalamualaikum, I'm Nashira binti Johari. My matric number H2182991. For this part, we have identified the independent variable and dependent variable for this research. As you can see, we have choose one dependent variable and followed by 3 independent variable. Starting with dependent variable, we choose to use international student to study in Malaysia. This is because the basis for a research approach that track the variable that affected foreign students' decision to study abroad. Next, first independent variable is education ranking. For this point, this is ensure that the student quality of public and private higher education institution and gain skills that are useful in their work. Second independent variable is safety. For your information, safety is important on the economy to continue to develop and be competitive. The dependent variable in this chapter is whether overseas student to study in Malaysia, while the independent variable include education ranking, safety and cost availability. The connection between each dependent variable and each dependent variable, as well as the framework, premise and idea.
Good morning everyone. My name is Yat Cheng Lim, Tamil Matric H21A3124. Today I read the by part is theory and hypothesis development. The above cultural relationship between residence, high sport and tourism impact refer to tourism development theory. In this theory, the hypothetical modules break down the impact of tourism development into 4 areas. For example, economy, social, cultural, and environment impact. The tourism research has element academic research to tourism criteria theory in the period of the development. For example, quantitative and quantity about the people come to country in holiday in Malaysia, because for example have many shopping mall and neutral country. Okay, thank you.
Now I'll continue with the part of research methodology. In this research methodology, there are 5 methodology that are being used. The first one is research design. The second one is population and sampling. In population and sampling, a questionnaire has been launched where we target MK students as the population for the sampling process. As of this questionnaire, there are 3 sample questions, which consist of why education ranking becomes one of the reasons to study in Malaysia. Next one is, does Malaysia is a safe place for the foreign students to study in? And if there are many international students, is there any positive impact to the economic growth of Malaysia? The third method is sampling technique. We use probability sampling, where researchers' samples was chosen randomly among UMK students, and this is where we stop collecting data if the sample reach the limit that we need. As for the instrument for this research is we use Google Form to create the questionnaire and share it to the students for them to answer. The last one is data analysis, where researchers analyze data collected and conclude all the findings regarding the objective that has been set up.
Hello, my name is Zakia Betridraman and my metric number is #21A2754. I will explain about the expected results of this study and what we hope upon completion of the proposed study. First, the result of this purpose focus on acquiring new knowledge of education tourism as a source of economic growth in Malaysia. The second is the findings of the issue to confirm that all variables have a positive relationship between students and economic growth. The third is the research drawn the impact on the economy and that are linked between students and economic growth. The last one is this proposal research based on Standards Operation Procedure (SOP), where it was the right circle to conduct research. And our hopes to our proposal study that we hope that in the future will be more research done about tourism sector of economic growth in Malaysia, and Malaysia have a stable economy through tourism sector. Thank you, that's all from me. I pass to the next presenter.
Finally, I will explain the part of conclusion. This study will collect data using quantitative method including statistical analysis. This chapter begins with an introduction and then detail the research design used in this study, before dealing with the research method used to carry out of this study. The population and sample of this study are also stated. Our demography consists communities that benefit from sustainable tourism. Based on the study, 70 students were taken to be the sample for data collection for this research. The researcher used his own questionnaire and also a Google form to obtain data.